Hi, I'm Amanda and I'm an education consultant for the National Critical Care Trauma Response Centre. So I grew up in country New South Wales, spent the first few years after uni working in Camperdown Kids Children's Hospital and also RPA Hospital, moving to Queensland where I started working rural and remote. Came back when I discovered that I needed more experience in emergency to feel comfortable out in rural areas. After being in emergency, you get a feeling that if you're not squirting blood, you're just not sick enough. It's overcrowded, it's really busy, and I thought I'd lost my care factor in nursing. So I drove around Australia and hit the Northern Territory and I discovered Indigenous nursing in remote communities. While I was out there, I did a course with the National Critical Care Trauma Response Centre and I thought this is the way to go. This is how we can educate remote area nurses and help people who are working in rural and remote areas develop the extra skills that they need to keep current in their practice out there. As a remote area nurse, you have so many skills that is expected of you. You're meant to be able to work on the roadside with no training of how to be an ambulance officer. You're meant to be able to be an emergency nurse, an ICU nurse, a generalised nurse, as well as doing primary health care. So it's a big role. Working in an Indigenous community in Northern Australia actually opens your eyes to how to work with different cultures, with a different language, how to be respectful. And it's not just how you've been taught to do it, but how you can adapt yourself to be able to be effective in that community. I had a goal then, once I left remote, that I would work with the National Critical Care Trauma Response Centre, and we are at the head of the game for Australia in emergency medical teams that deploy overseas post a natural disaster. Darwin is the closest to the Pacific and our northern neighbours, and we are able to deploy quite quickly post a natural disaster from Darwin. Having a warehouse here that is ready to go within 12 hours, it just makes sense to have us here. We train over 1,000 people a year. We actually take our training out to remote communities and we run sessions out there where they can work together as a team in their own environment with their own equipment, and we help upskill them to be able to cope till care flight arrives. I see our role as a really critical role in developing the North. We have a lot of nurses that come up from down south who have never worked in remote Australia, and our courses provide a crucial role in getting them prepared. So the 2 deployments I've done, one was to the Philippines and my second deployment was to Fiji. It just opens your eyes to a whole different world. You see their culture, you see the resilience of people, you make a difference on their day-to-day life. And we forget sometimes about the basic care, which might just be human touch. You get down to the basics, you do good clinical care, but at the same time, you're able to provide just that extra comfort to people who have lost everything. I'm Amanda, I'm from Darwin, and I'm developing the North.
To find out how Territorians are developing the North, go to northernaustralia.nt.gov.au